And here, I had this at home, and I thought about it, and I brought it in, and these are, if you take your time, that's Eisenhower right there, and this is your other commanders during World War II. This is Vietnam, and this is what's his name, who went to the Philippines. I can't think of his name.
MacArthur.
MacArthur, yeah, MacArthur. And it says War of the United States of America, and I put this down. I said World War I from July 28th to 1914, November the 11th. World War II, September 1, 39 to December 45. So that gentleman back there was probably in the Korean War. There's a lot of Koreans around here. June of 1950, June the 27th, 1953. So that covers, and then the Vietnam War, which a lot of my age, and I'm 83 going to 84, it started, I didn't realize this, in November of 1955 to April of 1975. I didn't realize, I thought, because I went into service in 63 and Vietnam was just cranking up to that. So that's when I thought it started. But that's the history of it. That stuff. There's just a lot of good stuff here to look at. This was, when they came out to introduce me to go on the honor flight, they took 2 years, and my wife had cancer, so I kept passing on it, because I wanted to be with my wife. I couldn't, and I'm sure you've all experienced that, I didn't want to leave her by herself. But she passed away about 5 years ago, and they came out, and they put this in my yard. Doesn't mean I'm an honored vet. It's just a nice sign. All of us vets are honored. Can I ask, if you're a veteran, would you please raise your hand so we know who you are? One thing, repeat after me. Thank you, veterans, for your service.
Thank you, veterans, for your service.
Yes, thank you. And most of you have been on the honor flight? If you haven't, it's the greatest trip of your life. The 4 years I had in the service, I was in the Air Force, and they treated me real good. I was at Barksdale down in Shreveport, and I had a top secret crypto clearance. I had the highest clearance. And I'm sitting there on the midnight shift, and the war room was right next to me, and I'm watching the tapes come out there, and all of a sudden 5 bells go off, boom, 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 and that was top secret. So I grabbed that sucker off there, walked over to the war room, and it said, "Generals, here's your instructions." And they wanted us to leave the base within 30 days and go to Guam. They wanted our B-52s and tankers to go to Guam, and 6 months later, they started high-level bombing in Vietnam. And they were doing good until the Chinese and the Russians came in with their high missiles, and they shot down a lot of B-52s. So we lost a lot of good airmen. And there was always a crew of about 8 on board. So if they knocked down 10, they just killed 80 airmen. So that was what was going on. Up here is my pictures of my service. Wasn't I good looking?
Everybody was good looking back then.
I said, I'm young. I passed a good looking stage. But anyway, what they do, you should read this. I have all this stuff out front in the VA thing. But this, they write you letters. I got like 70 letters from grade school kids. Dear Venture, they want to thank you for what you've done for us. And there's 3 of them up here. And I frame everything because I want to keep them. So if I could pass them on, if not, they get shuffled away. But they give you a whole bag. And we were ready to take off from Andrews out there, airport point. We get ready to leave. And all of a sudden the air traffic controller up there says, "Hold that flight. We got a storm coming in." So we sat on the runway out there for 2 hours. They would not let us leave because they're afraid of the storm coming in might use some destruction. But inside, the pilots and the waitress, they brought us all of our mail. We sat in our seats, so we opened up all the mail.
So
Yeah.
that was gave you something to do while you were waiting?
Yeah, so that was fine. And then when we got back, we were supposed to get back at 8 o'clock. We didn't get back to 11 o'clock. And we went to a gym. They put some buses down, and all these people, about 700 of them were waiting for us. You wouldn't have believed it. I walked in, I almost started crying, because we've never been thanked, especially the Vietnam vet and Korean. Nobody ever thanked us for what we did. In fact, when I came in '66 from the Philippines, I was there 18 months. I went to O'Hare. My dad was one person that met me. And my dad said, "One thing I want you to do, I want you to get out of uniform as fast as you can. Because the hippies are walking around spitting on you
Oh.
and calling you names. So I don't know where my uniform even went, but that was a different day. So we were so happy to go and get welcomed. And as we walked in, I had Gary East. Do you remember Gary? He was in charge of the food service
Oh,
here.
yes.
He was my guardian. See, a guardian goes with you. Somebody has to go with you to take care of you if you're in a wheelchair, and then they wheel you around for the whole day, unload you, pick you to the bus. So it's pretty important. And then you walk in at the high school, and he holds up that sign really high, and it's stamped on the wall. But you walk in, and they announce it. This is Sergeant Doran Malone, such and such, and then he comes in behind me, and they all sit up there and they clap for you. It's really a neat thing to be. It's just wonderful. You couldn't ask for a better time for us vets to come back. Because nobody wanted to thank us before. Because Vietnam was a so-so war. But I think 58,000 of us were killed in Vietnam, including in the memorial we saw in Michigan, is 8 nurses were killed in Vietnam too. The nurses, the women really helped us men out and made sure that we got back safely and medically and everything, but they were in Nam and they got attacked too. So it just wasn't the guys, there was a lot of women over there that really helped us all out. Over here is George Washington. I don't know if I should be talking or reading, but that's George Washington's flag there. It's called Crossing the Delaware River, which that was in 2026 and 1776 it crossed, and that's why it's a 50-year reunion. And Betsy Ross's flag was sent out to me, and I kept the box. In fact, I went and got it in a shadow box, and I want to keep it, because this is what the box looks like on the other side, because I was so proud to get that. You know, I'm just an excited little boy here, enjoyed all that stuff. And I've had so many people help me out. But this is me, and if you haven't stopped, out front we have 2 plaques. How many have got their name on these plaques?
Bill does.
How many needs to have your name go on these plaques? All the veterans should have their names on there. I don't care, all I need is a name and a branch. Aren't you on there?
Yeah, he's on already.
Bill's on there twice. And the bill
Yeah,
is
some of them on there twice. But we didn't want to, but so many of them come up and they see their name on there, their family does, and they say, thank you for putting my dad's name on there. Because it means a lot, because all of us are going to be gone pretty shortly here. If you've ever been overseas, we got a thing called the wake up. And I didn't know what the wake up was when I went overseas. You guys were walking around the Philippines, wake up. One guy had 30 days, another guy had 15 days. What the heck are they talking about, a wake up? That means how many days they got left before they go back to the United States.
Oh.
They've been there a long time. So I went up to check mine in the wall. It was 465 days.
Oh dear.
I said, Christ, I'm gonna sit down and have another beer. So I was there 18 months. But that's what you do when you go overseas. And you know, you can call now and talk to the vets and they can send messages. I wasn't able to make one call back to the States in 18 months. Nobody was. We weren't allowed to do that, you know, like for security reasons. But now, you can pick up your phone. If I could call, if I had a friend said I could call him right away and see what's going on. And that's a big step forward.
Yeah.
People, they need that because their families are back here and their kids are back here growing up. So, but anyway, this is mainly what I had, the stuff, but I got the George Washington and Betsy Ross 2 flags, and I have them in my house, and that's something for all of us. It's kind of like a kicking off right now for me, for the birthday 250, because I've been working on it for months. But that's something special, and I'm glad I got to live the 250th year.
Yes.
Because that's very special. Rick, did you say you were alive when the 200?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Was anybody else alive and remember when we had our celebration? I don't remember, and I'm 83 years old.
Oh, yeah.
You don't remember
1976?
1976?
Sure you do.
Yeah, I was
You remember
alive.
1976?
Yeah, I was alive. I just got out of I've been out for a while. In fact, I was married, you know, but I don't remember it.
You
Nobody
don't
brought it
remember
up.
it as well, okay.
This is really, I think, a very special thing for all of us to be here. And this couple here, any couple, there's just so many nice couples here. And we've all lost partners in our life. And I lost mine for 5 years ago to a terrible disease called cancer. Cancer is an epidemic out there. I don't want to scare you, but it's everywhere. And I wake up every day and I thank the Lord that I don't have cancer. But I got another vicious little character called Arthur.
Oh,
Tell me who Arthur is.
he's the worst one of them rice throats.
Yeah, he's all over my hands. He's got my fingers tore up. And a lot of your parents have Arthur or have had Arthur. And it comes on, and then I had that sciatic nerve. Have everybody had that sciatic nerve?
Right.
I'm talking about health. That sciatic nerve's a bitch, excuse my language. It starts here, it goes down to your knee, and it just screams at you.
Sometimes all the way to your toes, trust me.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So as we get older, we can, and my little toe started bothering me about a month ago. I didn't stub it, so I went to the doctor and they x-rayed it, and they come back and said, Mr. Malone, you got Arthur in that little toe. I said, so he wastes down here, down to my little toe, and it hurts all the time.
Oh, dear.
So if I pass away, I got a funny feeling it's going to be because of arthritis. Because I went back, had my x-rays done in my back, because they figured I had in my lumbar 3 and 4, so they think I went in this machine that goes back and forth. If you've been an MRI machine, you know what I'm talking about. And they come back in, they say, well, Mr. Malone, sit down. And your L1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Arthur is there.
Oh, Arthur is there, okay.
And your number 3, you got a bulge. So we got to keep an eye on that. But that's kind of my story. I just enjoyed being in the service. I have a lot of material that Lou helped me put together. So if you don't see it today, go over there at some time. Have everybody seen that veteran?
Yes.
I just love it.
Yes.
I've never seen a better presentation for us vets. It's really nice, and I've had a lot of help. And I keep adding to it. Like this came from there, that came from there, that came from there, you know? Just a lot of things come from over there that I'll take back. I started about 10 o'clock this morning and started bringing them in. But I just enjoyed, and my neighbors, these are Bob and Stacey are my neighbors. I grew up with they grew up with their kids. You know, they were walking around about 8 years old. Now they're married and have 2 kids themselves. And Lou was part of that too, because they babysit you, right?
No, their daughter Verla and I volunteered with Oasis to tutor kids. And we ran a summer program from my house. And Verla, at age 10, was helping to tutor the kindergarten kids. So we had about, I don't know, 8 or 10 kindergarten kids every Monday for a summer. And Verla came and was one of the tutors for kids that were just slightly younger than her.
It's amazing how they grow up so fast.
Yes.
I saw one thing on my phone. They say us older people, time keeps going faster, it seems like. You know, another year goes by pretty fast. But when you get older, it's just the way life is. It goes pretty fast for us. But it's just so wonderful to see all these great people. And this gentleman here, he's the best waiter I've ever had.
You gotta say that in Canada.
He's that camera worker. Because he's been here, what, almost 10 years?
Yes.
And he says he's going to be here until the building burns down.
But he serves us vets too. We always have the second Thursday of every month, just like this. He comes in and takes care of all of us vets. So he's just wonderful to have somebody so good staying here. Because we have a pretty good turnout here, gang. Okay, that's about it. I haven't got anything more to say. If anybody's got anything to say, Walt.
You didn't mention that when we came back from our flight, we were there, you go around the thing, and there were 2 high school girls that had put extra lipstick on and kissed you on both cheeks. I knew who you were. When I came back, I had no idea we were still going to go do something else. I thought we were ready to go home. I didn't know about it. And also, you talked about the notes from the kids from Martha's daughter is a librarian in a school, and they sent me from kids. I had 50 letters, 50 from kids in this school that thanked me for my service. It was really nice.
I want to know how long you left the lipstick on.
I don't remember.
He's so right. You know, some of these are from, I got some from Kentucky, I got some from Ohio. Somehow they found out that they sent, and then there's a teacher over here, she's teaching grade school. She had all those kids, and they brought me like 30 of them.
Oh.
You know, but there's people out there working behind the scenes that we don't get to see here, making us feel wonderful, and thank you for our service. And that, you know, that's what's important. This gentleman here, I've got to know him. He's from the LaPorte area too, right?
That's right.
So, and they're from the LaPorte area. Yeah, you know, and I'm so glad they got to know both of them. But we make such good friends here.
Another thing Walt didn't mention, his caretaker that was his, you know,
Guardian?
she made him an album. The next day, she brought this album to him, and it's wonderful. It's got every place they went in Washington. It's a wonderful album.
And also, he didn't mention, when you go to Washington, D.C., you have a police escort, and you are first in everything.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
People have to wait for you.
Yeah.
And I got off the plane, and they said, well, since you were the last one on the flight, we'll let you off first. Well, there was another gentleman in a wheelchair, and he went first. But I got off the plane, and there's 60 people clapping and cheering for me. I didn't know what was going on. I soon learned that they were all clapping for us. It really sent everywhere you went, and the airports are everywhere. They wanted to come over and shake your hand and everywhere.
Yeah, when we flew out there, out to Reagan, we landed international, and we're going up there where they're going to unload us, and there's 2 fire trucks, one on each side of our plane, and they shot water over our plane.
Oh.
And the plane went through it. And I'm sitting there, I just couldn't believe it. And the maintenance people that worked there were out in the tarmac with signs, welcome home, vets, we love you, thank you for coming. There were about 10 of them all over the place. But he's right, kids were everywhere. And when we went to the high school, about 11 o'clock, we walked a long highway on both sides of the high school, in the gym, the hallway. Girls, young kids were lined up. There must have been 50 on each side with messages about thank you. And I tried to thank them out in D.C. and thank the kids for coming. They said, no, thank you for your service and making us have this wonderful day. I said, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But see, none of us ever heard stuff like that, Walt. You know, but that was part of our lives. That was the Vietnam was a big thing back in the 60s. And Korea I got Korea up there for 52, 53, I think. Korea, 1950. What year were you in Korea?
51 to 53, the war was on. I wasn't over there during the war. I was after. I was here all of 1960.
I think Ray Getzel was a Korean vet too.
Gotcha.
Getzel?
Yeah.
Break out. He is. That's
Yeah.
right.
He's a Korean vet too. And but one thing that really surprised me with, let me just tell you this quick story and then I'll shut up. They invited about 20 or 30 in the summer after we got home. We got a call and said, Mr. Malone, we want you and so many vets to come down to a place called Prime 47. It's a big steakhouse down very expensive. I didn't know anything about it. So we all went down there and they served us steaks, and the owner's dad had been an honor flight. But it says here, please join us at approximately 6:30 as we honor them with a ceremony march led by the Indianapolis 500 Golden Pipers and horseshoe pipes, drummed through the Prime through Green Bay Fieldhouse, and they were honored by the Indiana Pacers at halftime.
Oh.
They had us go down after the second quarter, and they marched us, about 20 of us, out in the middle of the floor. Basketball players, it was break, and then they come by and introduced every one of us.
Oh, wow.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
And the pipers led us over there. They're playing their bagpipes from the restaurant, and we walked over there.
I got a kick out of going on board the flight. The TSA officers and the pilots stood there and shook the hands of all the veterans, and it was so interesting because all those guys have been Air Force, so they were allowed into the cockpit, which is very unusual. But when the TSA people salute you, that's something else.
Yeah.
I got a kick out.
That's a nice story.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. You know, there's so many volunteers. There's such a beautiful, big group now. And they they try to get 5 flights a year out. They don't try to go in the summer because it's too hot out there in July and August. So they wait till September and October. But they start in April and May and
What
go
kind of
out.
dressing do you want?
So it's cooler.
What kind of dressing?
But I probably should shut up and let everybody eat.
Raspberry vinaigrette.
I had a question. So what are some of the things
that
they
until I get
took
my
you
other-
to in Washington
until I
DC?
get my soup.
What were they
So
letting you
I'm gonna
go
wait.
Okay.
to
So
witness?
What they did in
Have my dressing
DC,
and
the
start
things that
now.
we got to do there, is you got in the bus, everybody's assigned a bus. I got out of your bus, and then you have to get off, and you go to the Vietnam Memorial, that black wall, and hopefully, I told somebody, I hope my name's not on that wall, and it's not. But there's 58,000 plus, and they keep adding them, because a lot of us are still dying off, and they want to be on that wall. From there, we went to the United Nations of all the states. In Indiana, there's a special place that has Indiana, and you walk up there and have somebody take your picture. But it's really great to go and see, but there's just so much out there. I had to sit down for a while, because I wanted to smell the air and the trees. Because I'm looking at the Vietnam Memorial and the rest, I just felt so lucky to be sitting there and alive, and it was a wonderful situation. I really love stuff like that. But we saw the Vietnam, or the Air Force Memorial was just stuck up, and they just put it up. And the Pentagon was right here, the Air Force is right there, and I looked at the Pentagon, and they say when those planes came over to crash into and it crashed right into the Pentagon, and you could see the different color of brick. It was limestone, where they hit with the newer brick, newer limestone, and then the older ones, but they crashed right into there. And if they would have come in when they would have hit the Air Force Memorial, because it wasn't there before, they would have hit them. It's just interesting to stand there and watch it. That's where it went. Those planes were so deadly, they killed so many people. But we saw everything out there, and I saw Audie. You remember Audie Murphy,
Oh, yes.
the cowboy, and the most decorated soldier in World War II? He's just a little guy. I found his tombstone. I'm going to tell you something nobody knows. On one side of the tombstone was his name and everything. On the back side, it was real smooth. So I'm walking around the cemetery and I find someone. There's a front and a back. And so I went to our guide and I said, how come somebody's on the back? At the Arlington Cemetery, if the vet suggested his wife's name goes in the back of the tombstone. So if you have a wife and your name is in the front, and then she's buried with you right together.
Wow.
I thought that was, and very few people seem like they just didn't know that. But that is really nice thing, because at Arlington, they run out of room basically, and now they're very particular who they get in there. But most of us could be buried to be in there. But it's just a wonderful trip. And
I had never been to Washington D.C. when the World War II Memorial was open. But this time it was open, I was there.
Yeah.
That's really something to see if you haven't seen it.
Yes.
It's really great. And also the new Air Force, which overlooks the city
Yeah.
of Washington,
Yeah,
D.C. It's
and they're redoing the Korean one too. They did that last year.
oh yeah, the Korean, you didn't mention the Korean War, they have a pond there, a reflecting pond there now. And also, they are wearing ponchos, and you might want, some people looked at them, why are they wearing ponchos? Well, it's a rainy season in Korea, and you got that poncho. And also, in the wintertime, if you want to be warm, all you need to do is wrap around that plastic, and you'll get warm.
Oh, Korea is cold.
When I first went over there, the first night I was there, well, we were in a Quonset hut, and I filled up the thing with the kerosene or whatever it is, it burnt. 4 o'clock in the morning, the thing went out.
Oh, dear.
You got to remember, just before you go to bed, you fill that thing up. You forget it one time, and you remember from then on.
I want to hold up a picture. all of us people fall sooner or later, guaranteed. This is what I felt at home last week.
Yeah.
I got up to go to the bathroom, and what got through it, I got up and I blacked out. And I fell right on my nose and face.
Stood up too quick, probably.
Yeah, and it's, because I don't remember it, but it got me really good. It's still black and blue, but I'm recovering from it. I've been in the VA twice. But all of us fall sooner or later. That's what I'm not trying to scare anybody, but that's what happens. Sooner or later we go, and I had no intention of falling. I couldn't catch myself because I blacked out. So I went right down hard. And blood
Oh, dear.
was everywhere.
Well, not a question, but just a statement, you know, with the honor flight, you always have to have an escort.
Right.
And a lot of times they ask for family members to go with you, not the spouse, because we're too old. They don't want two old people to take care of.
Two people to take care of.
Right, so it's always a family member, but if you do not have a family member, the Indy Honor Flight will provide you with an escort. And when Bill went, his son was supposed to go, but he didn't complete the training, and they're very sticky about having the escorts complete a training program. And since he didn't complete it, they said, well, no, we're not gonna let you take your father, so we will have somebody else take you. And Bill had a very nice gentleman who is Plainfield police officer who escorted Bill. And I was always concerned about some of the issues that Bill has, and he was very nice and said, don't worry about it, I've got it all covered. I will take care of him. I will bring him back to you. And he did. And Bill had a wonderful trip. He had a wonderful trip. So, and it doesn't matter if you, as a veteran, were in combat, because they said you served your nation and you went away from your family, and whatever you did, you are still a vet. So a lot of people think that if they're not serving in combat, that they are not allowed to go, but they are.
Want to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, do that now.
That's a nice story.
Okay.